Good afternoon, and welcome to Book Chat. I am your host, author Vivian E. Moore. I am excited to join you once again on this beautiful weekend. And I know I say this almost every weekend, but it is just simply beautiful outside. The weather has that bit of crispness to it that we love about fall, and it's the time of year that makes you want to get outside and just enjoy nature, seeing all the trees change and just a little bit of coolness in the air. We look forward to that. But before we get started with today's show, I want to give out all the URLs. So the first one, of course, is for Spreaker, and it is https://www.spreaker.com/user/author Vivian E. Moore. If you want to like me on social media, please do so. That for Facebook, it is https://www.facebook.com/Vivian E. Moore. And my Twitter handle is God's Property 46. And if you want to touch bases with me on Instagram, that URL is https://Instagram.com/God's Property 51. And of course, if you want to check out my webpage, please do so. That is http://VivianEmore.wix.com/author Vivian E. Moore. All right. So now that we've gotten all of that out of the way, let's get to today's topic. And it is, don't judge a book by its cover. And what we're going to talk about today is choosing the right cover design for your book. To settle arguments, we usually agree to disagree. Or if the story is being told by a third party, the most apropos phrase is, a book always has three sides: the front, back, and what's between those covers. Well, before you get to what the truth is, you have to get past the cover. This is where what's printed or photo art applies. How many books have you passed on before you've opened up the interior flap and read the brief synopsis because the cover wasn't catchy enough? Hence today's topic. Cover art is essential to the success of authors. Let's just be honest for a moment here. Many readers are lured by images, and unless your book is illustrated, such as children's books, cookbooks, coloring books, etc., things of that nature. You know the books that usually have illustration, which are colorful pictures and things like that. But you have to have something striking on the cover to draw attention to what's on the inside of the book. Long before I started writing books, I read them, and I have to admit I'm guilty of doing exactly what I just told you. Romance is what I like. I like that best, though I also love a wide genre of other topics that interest me as well. Therefore, if the cover art wasn't colorful enough, or the hero and the heroine remarkable enough, I declined going any further. And that was until I matured and I turned the page to the inside flap. Imagine how many great books I didn't read based on being so superficial. And like I said, I can admit that, but that was in my younger years, and, things of that nature, they grabbed my attention. I didn't care about what was on the inside of the book. If the outside of the book wasn't colorful enough for what I thought it should be, then, I wasn't going to read the book. But thank God I got past that. Well, as you can tell, I did outgrow it, and that stage anyway. And it's why I want to discuss the topic today. And nevertheless, this doesn't change everyone else's viewpoint on how they choose their books. If you are a best-selling author, the cover could be blank as far as your dedicated readers are concerned. All they care about is the next adventure they are about to embark upon. However, for those less fortunate authors, we need impressive covers to alert the readers that we are just as worthy. Just as book titles whet the appetite of readers, the cover serves the same purpose. And I've written many books and I've published two. The third is on the way. But the general consensus of all my readers is, hey, I love the story and the cover of the book too. This is so important to authors because we want to be successful in all aspects of our work. But to give it a fighting chance in the myriad of books, we need award-winning cover designs to make that happen. You know, I'm grateful for the success of my books, and just recently, I received 2 markups of my newest project, If Tomorrow Comes, and I have to be honest with you again, and I have to say I wasn't impressed. And you know, no disrespect to the models, but they just were not what I had in mind for my cover. You know, as an author, my story is driven by the title and what's written on the pages. These are my ideas, and they carry over to the outside of the book as well. The problem is getting the publisher to see your dream as it applies to the cover. You know, in my mind's eye, my vivid imagination has created a specific image of what I want as the first focal point of my book. Thus, I rejected both markups. I had to because they just did not meet the description of what I wanted. But what I did was I attached a photo that was geared toward my illustration of how I want the first impression to readers to be, and it went along with the story of the book, and the female lead character, I think, better represented what I was trying to portray in the story. But, you know, as I said before, I don't judge a book by its cover, but, you know, many people do. And that's okay, because I understand, because I've done it before myself. You know, people like what they like. Therefore, as the writer, we have to create imagery to steer their imagination through the words we write and the art on the front of the book. I mean, it's just that simple. You know, I use the term art as it applies because that's exactly what it is. And just for an example, I would like to use a few artists since we're talking about artwork. Jean-Michel Basquiat, I think I may be pronouncing his name incorrectly, but I think it is Basquiat. He was a Haitian American artist who achieved notoriety as part of an informal graffiti duo. He wrote epigrams in the cultural hotbed of the Lower East Side of Manhattan during the late 1970s, and by the 1980s, his paintings were exhibited in galleries and museums internationally. He died very young, but left a lasting impression on the world. In fact, his life was made into a screenplay. And some of you might remember Jeffrey Wright from the Hunger Games movies, and also Shaft. He played the drug lord, the Puerto Rican drug lord in that movie, and also Cadillac Records. This is just a hint. He played Muddy Waters. But anyway, there are some other notable artists, such as Vincent van Gogh. He was a Dutch post-impressionist painter who was an influential figure in the history of Western art. Connoisseurs of his work identified him by his brushstroke or the images he painted on canvas before they even checked his signature. French artist Pierre Renoir, another impressionist artist, had a distinctive style also that lovers of art really identified as his contribution to the world of art. Why am I mentioning artists? If I'm talking about book covers, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about book covers. And, the art applies. Because writing is an artistry, and what is on the front of that cover is art. That is your signature as well. Trust me, they go hand in hand. Much like we identify these artists by their works, we as writers are categorized the same way. The cover art on our books like I said, it's our signature that connects us to our work. Word is bond, and it is the impression we make before one word is spoken or read. This is no less cohesive. Ladies, how many of you, if you like historical fiction or contemporary romance, are riveted to the book by what is presented on the cover? Now, I'm speaking for myself, and raise your hand if you agree, but we love bold, colorful, and sexy imagery because it sends the message to our brains that something wonderful lies between those pages. But if the imagery is lackluster, we tend to believe the story will reflect the same. This is not always the case, and it can be hugely attributed to the fact the cover doesn't reflect the story. This is due to it's a breakdown between the publisher and the author. Honestly, most publishers consult the author for cover ideas if they allow such freedom. But the final decision is always the publisher's, whether we agree or not. And honestly, most of us are so thrilled that we're being published that, we give little thought to what's on the outside of the book, besides our names and the title. Yet for DIY authors, you maintain a certain amount of control of what's on the inside and also the cover design, and you can dictate to the publisher how you want them to display your story. This is instrumental in how well the book will be received or not. Your book will be acknowledged and the success by what is on the outside cover of that book. Regardless of what's written on the inside, the outside is what people see first. This is where they make their judgment calls as to whether, they want to read the book or not. And I know that just seems so, so superficial, but it is the truth. I realize advertisement and marketing are direct partnerships that drives book sales as well. But believe me when I tell you, cover art is equally important. For most people, a blasé or dull book title or cover design is it's like a pamphlet advertising flu shots. But on the other hand, if that pamphlet is designed with eye-catching artwork, I hate needles, but I'd be tempted to go and get immunized. And I'm just kidding anyway. But, but on a serious tip, I take my health very seriously. Just as much as I do writing and doing this show every Saturday to help and to give tips to aid the process of writing. This is my passion, and I want to share it with the world. Just as I want to help others who may be just starting out or unsure of what they should or need to do to get their work out there. Being a successful writer is more than just pounding out words on paper. There should be a thought process that begins from conception to creation. Our main focus is always writing a great novel, but we should stay mindful of what comes after the book is completed. Personally, while I'm writing the story, my mind is always on what I'd like to see on the cover. The images are as vivid as the story, and if I can see it, then it can be achieved. The same applies to you. I so want everyone to gain a level of success by doing what they love. We learn as we grow. It's why I'm so dedicated to sharing my knowledge with you. Keep in mind, I don't know everything, but I have learned by example and wish there had been someone on a personal level such as this to aid me in the process. Yes, I love writing, but I love the craft more, and this applies to all my fellow writers. it's sort of like museum curators or filmmakers and producers. Many have never drawn as much as a flower on paper, but they have studied the craft and it is their passion. They can explain and tell you anything that has to do with art, though they themselves are not artists. And the people who make movies, most aren't actors, but they've also studied and know every detail to make a script work and get the most from an actor. We as writers have this, we have the inside scoop. And this is why we shouldn't be selfish with our God-given talents, but share them with as many that will listen. You'll be blessed for it. I promise you, you will. You know, I had a friend ask me, when I do the show, do I feel as though I'm talking to myself? And I replied, absolutely not. I feel as though I'm speaking to the world, not because I like the sound of my own voice, like a paintbrush is to an artist, instruments to musicians, and notes to singers. I am contributing positivity to the universe. Writing is like therapy for the soul, mine anyway, at least. But with the world filled with so much negative imagery, hate, and all manner of evilness, for 30 minutes, I can create a calm atmosphere in my life and yours. I am so dedicated to what I do. And I hope that this is reflected in the message I bring each week. I don't do this show for any personal accolades or to get you to buy anything. I know many authors who want useful information are trying to reach out to fellow writers on social media, and they are bombarded with emails and other paraphernalia trying to induce them to buy a book or whatever to escalate their career. Theirs, not yours. And I know this because I receive them too whenever I accept them as friendships or followers. And I know that this is the norm, that's printed on most self-help books on how to become a successful author. Whereas, what I'm doing is trying simply to help other writers to build a platform and readers to go out to the nearest bookstore, library, or online store if you prefer, to buy books for themselves and for their loved ones. That is all. I know many of you are listening, whether you like the show or not. And I see this from the weekly stats. And, like I said, I am so thankful for all of you who, attentively listen to me every Saturday, whether you're listening live or if you are... if you're waiting until the episodes are downloaded or uploaded to the various social medias. I thank you for that because that means the world to me. Whenever I receive those stats in my email and, it's telling me that, I had these many listeners on this day and I had those many listeners on that day, that means the world to me. And like I said, I'm not trying to offer you anything as far as trying to get you to buy something or sell books or anything of that nature. The purpose of my show is to enlighten, and I've said that before, to uplift and to inspire. That is why I do this show. And, and I thank God for putting it on my heart to do it, to give me the courage to be able to do it, and to... and to make sure that that what I am trying to get across to you every week is something that is useful, because that means a lot to me. I think about right after I finish with this show, my mind is going to what the next show should be. What's the next topic I should speak on? To help people, and that's my purpose. That's what I want to do. So I think about every single show. Before I actually let people know what the next topic is going to be. That is a constant that's on my mind. To anything that's related with books and reading and things of that nature, my mind is always centered on that because, like I said, this is like therapy for me. To be able to to talk about talk about anything, to talk about writing, reading, what have you. That's why I do this show. It's empowering. It really is, to be able to come to you each week and know that I'm possibly helping someone, to get off the ground. They may be stuck, and not knowing what to do next, because they want the help. They want to go out there, in Google and go to other other areas that will give them the information that they're searching for. But I'm just trying to make that search a little bit easier by eliminating all of these other steps, by just doing this show and giving you the tips, giving you the information, the places that you can go to find this information. That is the purpose of this show. And I just see it as, it is a gift from God. It is, to have that desire to want to help, and and not be selfish with the gift that God has given, and to share it with other people. Because that's just how it should be. It is. That is how, that's how God designed me to be, to not be selfish and to share everything that I know, everything that I've learned with others that may not be on the same level yet, as where I am. So, and I feel as though you go further in life if you have this sort of attitude. But if you want to just keep everything to yourself because you don't want to see someone else succeed, then that's the wrong attitude to have. And you really won't advance far if you keep that up. But and I don't do it, like I said, to self-glorify or anything like that. Everything I do is to glorify God and to please Him and not myself. So that's why, I hunger to do this show every weekend. I look so forward to doing this show every Saturday, and I try so hard to make sure that that it starts when I say it's going to start. When I advertise the time on the different social media outlets, I try to stick with that. And if for some reason, if I'm not able to make that 6 o'clock slot, then, I do apologize, because I am human and things do happen that sometimes keep you from doing what you say you're going to do. But I try hard to make sure that, that what I say is what it is, because people trust you when you come through for them. When you say you're going to do something and when you're consistent with it, they trust you because, they know, okay, I can depend on this person because they said this and this is what happened. So, that's just who I am as a person, and not some type of image I'm trying to project, but that's just who I am as a person. And those people that know me, they can testify to who I am, to my character. But, once again, like I said, I am so thankful and grateful to be able to do this show, to be able to come up with these ideas. And I don't come up with them on my own. Like I said, that everything is God-driven in my life. And so I know that they come from Him. So, and these are the things that I try to bring to you on a weekly basis. But we're coming down here to the last few minutes of the show. And just like every Saturday, I'm often busy. But it's a good busy. I'm doing something productive. And today I spent time with my sisters in Christ, and also with my sister and one of her friends. We went out to the movies after choir rehearsal today, and saw a good film. It was very funny. So I was wondering if I was going to have enough voice left to actually do this show today after laughing so much at the movie that we saw. But it was most enjoyable, and actually it has really settled me down on the inside. So so I can come and calmly do this show, even if I did have to come in again on two wheels to get here to do it at 6 o'clock. But it was so worth it. It was so well worth it. And I hope that something that I've said today has inspired you. It has helped you in some way. And if you're listening to the show, or if you're listening to the uploaded episodes, I hope that you're sharing them also with your friends to let them know that this show is on Spreaker, and that my specific show, Book Chat with Author Vivian E. Moore, is on every Saturday at 6 p.m. Again, I have so enjoyed chatting with you today, and I know that the weather now is this is the good hiking weather. I know a lot of people like to go camping when the weather is like this because it's not hot and you don't have to worry about bugs and mosquitoes and things of that nature. But if you do decide to go camping, please be careful, because there is just so much going on in the world today. And I don't know how safe it is if you're not actually in a camper or on some type of campground where there are other people around, or in a camper, something that you can lock, or a building. Be careful if you're outside sleeping in tents and things of that nature. Just be mindful that that everybody is not peaceful, and some people are just looking for something to do. And I'm not trying to speak any ill will out into the universe, but I'm just trying to speak a word of caution, because it's always best to be safe. And tomorrow is worship day, is Sunday, and if you don't have a church home, go visit someone else's church. We at our church, we have as every church should, a open door policy. The doors of the church are open, and we welcome everyone in that wants to come in and hear the word of God. And I'm so thankful that we have a teaching pastor, that he preaches and he teaches as well. So you have a great understanding of what's being said. And that is why I so love my church home. And I love our pastor. He had been sick for a couple of weeks, and he's still not quite up to speed, but he's getting there slowly but surely. And so, we have to keep him lifted up in prayer, because we miss our pastor when he's not there. But we have a month that there are 5 Sundays, or 5 weeks in a month. And this particular month there is 5. We do what we call Family and Friends Day, where you invite someone who may not be a member of your church, or they may not even attend church at all, but we invite them to bring those family members, those friends, those neighbors on that day. They can come any time of any Sunday, any given Sunday. They are welcome to come, but specifically on this Sunday, because it is the 5th Sunday, and we worship, but we fellowship as well, and we have such a great time. So I'm extending that invitation to anyone who's listening to this broadcast today, that on next Sunday is the Family and Friends Day at our church. And if you're familiar with me, then you know the name of the church. I won't give it out on the radio, because I don't believe in advertisement like that. But if you want to reach out to me on social media to find out the name of the church, or if you want to email me, please feel free to do so. I don't know if I gave out my email address. I'm not quite sure if I did, but my email address is vivianemore@icloud.com. So please feel free to drop me a message. Excuse me, if you want to know more about our Family and Friends Day. But we're closing out right now, and like I said, I hope that you have had a great weekend. I know they go by so fast, but I hope that you have enjoyed this day, this beautiful, crisp fall day with just a cloudless sky. It's just perfect. If I were an actual artist, I would have my canvas out with my paintbrushes and my paints, trying some way to commemorate this day, because it is such a beautiful day, and I have so enjoyed it. And I'm thankful for every day that God allows me to see. And so, you can hear the joy in me, because I truly love what I do. I truly love spreading the word about books and writing, and just love. I guess that's why I'm a romance author, because it's just, I'm just filled with it. Well, we are closing out now to the last few minutes of the show. And again, hug someone, tell them that you love them, because, tomorrow is not promised. So if you get the opportunity today, hug someone, tell them you love them, and, and wish them well. And that's what I want to do for you. So enjoy the rest of your day, and God bless.